Hi everyone, in this video, I will show you how to make this environment using an awesome plugin called Polygon Flow Dash. And Dash is a really great world building plugin for Unreal. It can speed up your world building process by using various procedural tools. You don't need to code or use nodes for it. It is very artist friendly. And in this video, I will show you some of the great tools that Dash comes with, like surface scatter, road tool, procedural vine creation, physics painting, and many more. And Dash is always getting updates and new tools, so it will make your world building process easier and faster. To download Dash, use the link in the description below. And on their website, they offer a free trial version. So just click download here and download Dash, and then just install it using the setup files. It's really easy. And now to use Dash, click this icon. And if you don't see this icon, you can go to edit, then plugins, then you can search for Dash here, and here just tick this and restart your engine, and after that this icon will show up. So just click that. One of my favorite tool in Dash is the AI tagging tool, this one. So if I click this, so I have this window with all the assets that I have on my project file. So if I go here and compute all, it will compute all the assets I have added to the project file. And here I can search for tree or plant, or I can even search using color to get something of that color. So if I search for red, I will get this red flowers, and I can just control drag this and scatter here like this, and it is scattered on the world. So it's a really easy way to organize all the environmental assets you have, and really easy to search through them using the AI tagging tool. You can also have all the assets you have downloaded from Megascan here. You can also have this free Poly Heavens library. So there are a lot of materials and assets here. It is fully free, so you can just control drag this in, and it will just download that from the Polyheaven's website and add that to your project just like that. So it's really easy to organize all the assets you have with the AI tagging tool, and to bring in all the assets you have downloaded from Megascans and Polyheavens, etc. So it's a really cool tool to speed up my level design workflow. So if you open up the three project files I gave you, you will get a level like this. And if you don't want to use the trees I gave you, you can just open a third person template and that will work just fine. Now to open Dash, you can click this Dash icon here. So here we have our Dash plugin. Now we need to create a new map. For that, we can go to the files, then click new level and click on basic one. So it will come with the sky. Click create. Now here we will delete this mesh and replace that with a landscape. So go to selection mode, then landscape, then click create. Now I will go back to selection, and now we can save this map. So go to files and save current level, and we will create a new folder and save it in there. Now we can add a landscape material to this. For that, we can go to the Quixel Megascan. So go to Windows, then go to Quixel Bridge. Then here we can type in Nordic ground, and we can select this Nordic forest ground moss, and we can just download this like that. Just press download, and after you finish downloading, just click add. So it is added to your project file. Now we can just select the landscape and add that in here like this, and we can reduce the size a bit so it will tile better. So 0.3 and 0.3, and if I get closer, and this looks fine, we will cover this up with the grass and rocks, etc. Now we need to add the cliff and the road. So for that, we need to create a spline. So Dash allows us to draw splines onto the landscape directly. So in order to do that, we can type in curve and select the curve tool. And here we can give an initial spacing of 50 And first we can create the road. So we just need a straight line. So click on start drawing and then just click here like this. So we have this road spline, and now we can create the cliff spline. So for that I will just change the smoothing to like 3, and now click on start drawing and then just draw like this. So we have a new spline. Now if I just select the quick help, I can see all the options. So if I press shift and move the middle mouse button, I can smooth it. And if I press Ctrl and move the middle mouse button, I can increase or reduce the number of spline points like this. So this looks fine. Now we can go out of this by pressing escape and select this spline, and we can name this road spline and select this one and type cliff spline. Now we can just close the curve tool. We don't really need this anymore. Now for the cliff, we can go to a bridge, and here we can type in Nordic massive coastal cliff and select this one, and we can get the nanite quality and add this to the project like this. Or you can just download this and we can go to the AI tagging here, and from here you can go to the Megascans folder, and everything you have downloaded will show up here, not just in the project file but entirely. So if these assets don't show up here, just make sure that you have set the Megascans folder correctly like this. So whatever you have on your system, just set that correctly here. And here we can also search for cliff and get the massive Nordic coastal cliff, and now select the spline and just press Ctrl and drag that in like this and click scatter on selection. Now here we have this, and Dash has already created a path scatter tool. So this path scatter tool allows us to scatter a mesh along a spline. So it has a lot of controls. So here we can set the maximum scale to 2.7. So now we get a look like this, and here you can see that the mesh isn't really sinking into the ground. So in order to make this sink, we can give a value of 0.1 here for sink, and now you can see that it has synced into the ground and looks much better. So if I just press play, we get something that looks like this, and here I can set the minimum scale to like 2. So now this looks much better. You can also play around with the other values here. So there are a lot of values to add more variations, and you can also drag another mesh into it if you want, so to get a more varied look. But I am going to go with this. So here now we don't really have to do anything with the path scatter, so we can select this and click freeze so that we can add more stuff and it stays locked like that. So now we can just click close, and now we need to add a road here. So select the curve tool and type in road. So we have this nice road tool here. Select that, and if I go close, and here if I set the width to like 150 or like 700, I forgot to select the curve. You need to also select the curve like that, so you can see the road. So now we have a nice looking road here. Here it looks a bit flat, so we can increase the sync to like 0.5 and the border sync to like 0.6. So now it looks better. And here now we need to bring in some textures. So for that we can go to bridge and here type in cobblestone and get this rough cobblestone floor or the rough stone floor, and just add that to the project and go and get that and just drag that into the mesh. So here you can see that the texture is really small, so we can go to the UV scale and set this to like 0.2, and now if I press play, I think this looks better, so we can go with this. Now we are done with the road tool. So now we can just select the procedural mesh we created and we can type in to static mesh. So now our road tool has gone and we have an output mesh. So this is a static mesh that you can use like any other static mesh. Now we can add the gravestones along the path. So for that we can go to bridge and type in gravestones. Also type in Japanese. So select these Japanese gravestones and just download. Now we can go to the folder and just bring that into the world like this. So now select that and here we can select our road spline and type in path scatter. So now we can scatter this gravestone along the spline. So select the scatter object, the gravestone, and then select the road spline. So now it looks like this. So here we can type in per point. So it will just spawn per point here. And now we can go to path width and set this to like 100 or maybe like 700. So now you can see that it is following the path perfectly. I will set this to 710, maybe 750. That will do it. And here we can increase the scale. So for the minimum scale, we can give a value of 2. And now for the maximum scale, we can give a value of 3. So now if I press play, you can see that the gravestones are all following the road like this. And it's a really cool look. We should set the width to like 800. So it is not overlapping with the road. Okay, that's fine. Now here you can see a lot of features like feature masking, proximity, etc. So here for the random spin, we can set this to C and give a value of 10 or something like that. So we have some random spin to our graves now. And now this looks much better. You can also play around with all the other values like random scale, feature masking, surface, etc. There is also a surface feature. So if your surface is kind of curved, you can select that and it will align to that. And there's also sync, smooth, etc. Right now, this is all what we want. And now we can scatter some tree leaves onto the road. So in order to do that, we can go to the bridge again and type in tree decal and select these fallen leaves and download that. And here we can either add that to the project, or if you have downloaded this, we can select AI tagging and then go to the Megascan folder and type in fallen. And now we have these fallen leaves. So if I press Ctrl and drag that into the road, I can scatter on selection. And it has scattered the decal onto the road like this one. So now that looks really good. You can also play around with the size, density, etc. But this looks fine for me. So now we need to add some flowers along the path. So for that, go to the bridge plugin and here type in big leaf hydrogen and add that to the project. Now we can either use it from here or go to AI tagging, then go to Megascans, just Control drag it into the world and click scatter here. So it will scatter that all over the world. So now with this flower, we don't really need this on the road. So we can just select the road and here we can go to proximity masking. We can go to the proximity masking or the objective masking. Both kind of work similarly. And now add the object. So this is what node we want. We want the opposite of this. So we can click this. And now we can untick this. So now it is not on the road, but on the rest of the world like this one. And here I can reduce the density by going here and reducing it here, or I can change the density mode to global. So there is few of them. And here you can see that it is all over the world. And there are many ways to clean this up. Some ways are just to get a box and add a proximity mask and just spawn it there like this object masking, or we can just select this and type in to foliage. So convert instance to foliage, and if I click that, and click convert deleting tools. Now if I just go to the foliage and if I just close this, so now you can see that all the flowers are added to the foliage painting tool. So if I press shift and select all of this and take it, and here I can go back up like this, and now I can increase the brush size, and I can press shift so I can delete it from places I don't really want, like that. So it's really easy to clean that up. So now we only have it inside the clips. Now we can add some more flowers to it. So we can go to AI tagging, then go to Megascans folder, and here I will get this field poppy, this one. If you don't really see it here, you can type poppy here and just download it and add it to the project, or just download it, and if you have set the project files correctly, it will show up here. So now we can again select this and drag and drop it here, so scatter here. So here you can see that these flowers are a bit too small, so we can change the maximum scale to 3 and we can set the minimum scale to 2. Now select the road and we can mask this again by going into object masking and add that there. And now we can change the distance to 100 or like 200. We can untick keep inside, so it will just grow on the edges like this. So now we have this. So this is exactly what we want. Now we can add some grass. So go to Megascan library. So here is a name for the grass. Just download that from bridge, and now we can just control drag that in and scatter here. And here set the max scale to like 4, and here set the minimum scale to 3. And now we can select the road and object masking again and click invert and untick keep inside. And now it's all over the world, so I can just select the grass and type in convert. And now I can go back like this and select the foliage tool again, and then select all the grass. Just shift click so we can delete the grass from areas we don't really need. So now if I click play, I have this grass also. And now we can add our tree. So for that we can go to the foliage painting tool, and here just select all of this and untick this, and we can go to our tree asset, and now just drag in the tree like this and just make sure that it is selected, and go to here and just tick single instance mode, so we can place it as one plant, one tree like this. Now we can place our tree on the world like this, and now we can get our second tree and we can place that also. Just randomly place the trees wherever you like. And now if I press play, it is starting to look like a game level. Obviously we can add way more variation to this, so we can go back and we can go to AI tagging again, and we can go to Megascans folder, and now we can go here and type in beach rock formation, and we need this one. So beach rock formation, you can also search here. So if you search beach rock formation, you get that, and you can just download that and add that to the project, or just add that to the Megascan folder like before. And here I'm just going to drag and drop it here and scatter here, and it is scattered all over the world. I will set the density mode to global, so there isn't too many of that, and I can set the maximum scale to 2. Now here we can set the density to like 0.2, so there isn't that many rocks. And here you can see that the rock is on the road, but if you don't really need that, you can just go to object masking and select that and add that, invert that, and untick keep inside, so it won't be visible there. And we can also set the minimum scale to 1 and the max scale to like 4 or something like that. I think that's better value. And now if I press play, now this looks more natural now. Now I will show you one of the coolest tools in Dash. So if I get this Nordic small rocks, and now if I just press Ctrl and drag this here and drop, I get this physics paint option. And if I click that, here I can paint along here and drop these rocks like this to get some natural variations. So I can add these rocks here like this and along here like that. And now I can just click stop and set static. And now if I close this and press escape, it is now an instanced foliage. So it's really easy to drop rocks or other assets like this into the world using Dash. Now we can bring in our Japanese fox statue. So go to bridge and type in Japanese fox, and now select the Japanese statue and click download. Now click add, and now we can go to the Megascans folder and 3D assets, and here we can go to the Japanese statue and we can bring in the fox here. It's really small, so I will lock the scale and set this to 15, so it's really big. And I can just bring it here like that. So like this. Now we are going to add some vines to this fox statue. For that, we can go to a tagging, then Megascan, and then you can click here to show the folder. And here we have these atlases. We can use this atlas, but in this bridge, we cannot see any atlas here. And even if I search for unidentified vine, we cannot really see any results we want. This one as atlas. So in order to get this one, we can go to the bridge standalone application that you can download from the Megascan website. And if you go there, you can see these atlases. Then in the vine option, and if I select the vine option, and then we have all these vines to choose from. So I will just go like this and get this paper flower and just click download. And if you have set the library path correctly, after it is downloaded, it should appear here as paper flower. So that folder path should be equal to this folder path here. So this one. So now here I can just select the fox and just press Ctrl and drag that in and select create vine on selection. And now here you can see the vines. So if I set the growth iteration to 175 and the growth size to like 7, and here we can change the leaf scale to like 4. I think maybe that's a bit too much, maybe like 2. Now we have our vine on the fox mesh like this. So that's a really cool feature that Dash have, and you can have this really organic looking vines growing on your meshes like this. So now we need to add some fog here. So in order to add that, Dash comes with really cool fog cards. So if I type in fog and create fog cards, and I have this really cool looking fog card here. And now we can just scale this as much as we want. And we can just place this in places like this, so far away from the camera. And we can scale it up a bit like this. So since these are fog cards, we need to place them so that the camera don't go through them or the effect won't look very good. So we can just duplicate that and place it here. And we can also play with the settings here. There are a lot of cool settings, but I don't really want to change anything because this looks really good right now. And I will bring it here up a bit like this, and I will rotate it like this so our camera cannot go through it. And you can also bring it to the front like this and add that here. We can also copy one from here and just scale that down and rotate that. And we can put this here like this. So now if I press play, you can see the fogs. So now you can see the fog cards, and it has a really cool looking fog here also. And you can also see the vine growing. And now if I select all the fog cards in the outliner like this, and here I can change the color of the fog. So I will give it a bluish color like this. We need to add one more thing. So we can go to AI tagging and go to Megascan. And now we can go to 3D and type in stone pillar and get this stone pillar and just drag and then just control drag here and scatter this here onto the landscape. So now it's all over the landscape. I will set the density mode to global, and now we can select the road and go to object masking and add that and invert that and then untick keep inside so it won't be inside it. So we have that also. Now if I press play, we have this really cool looking level like this one. And now we can adjust few more settings. Here I can press Ctrl and L to change the light like this. And also I can type in fog here and go to exponential fog and change the fog density to like 0.2 or like 0.1. So it's a bit foggy. And now we can add a post process volume here and type in post. And here we need to pick infinite bound so it is affecting the entire world. And now we can go to color grading and we can click temperature and we can tick temp and increase the temperature a bit like this. And now we can go to global and go to saturation and click that, and we can play around with these values. So I will just increase the saturation a little bit. And now if I press play, we can get a look like this. And one more thing we need to do is that we need to select this road actor, and if I just open up the material, I can give a tint to it. So I will just give it a reddish tint like this, maybe a bit more darker like this. Let's see, maybe this is a better color. Now we get a look like this, and this is what we want. And that's it for the tutorial, guys. And thank you very much to Polygon Flow Dash for sponsoring this tutorial. and you can download a free trial of the program from the link in the description below. Check that out. Thank you very much for watching.